Now, this is just a little video on flexible dieting, okay? So flexible dieting, simplified, would be still eating some of your favorite foods, but sticking within your calories as well. 80% of the time, 70-80% of the time, you want to be eating good, whole, nutritious foods. So your meats, vegetables, unprocessed food, okay? So things that nearly have less than 5 ingredients, that's what we'd say. Everyone knows what those sorts of foods are. So if you can keep them in your diet 70-80% of the time, you won't have a problem, okay? It's going to give you lots of energy as well. When you're eating better food, you think of it as fuel going into your car. If you're putting the proper fuel into your car will go all day. If you start putting in dodgy fuel, it's going to break down. So think of that with your body as well, but you just need 80%. It doesn't need to be 100% of the time. 100%, you're not a robot. Don't do that, okay? You can still include your favorite foods, your bars of chocolate, your crisps, whatever that is. Fit them into your calories. That's why I get people to track the calories as well. Fit them in, okay? I have absolutely no problem with it. You're not human if you're not eating some of that stuff, okay? But it's only 20% of the time. That's what I would stress. And that goes with the week as well, okay? So 80% of the time during the week, okay, we need you hitting everything on point. And then 20% of the time, you have that little bit of freedom to eat some of the foods that maybe aren't as good for you, but if you're not eating them, you're craving them, and then you have a shit day, and then you eat everything around you. So that's really important too. So I don't want people restricting, okay? I did a video on this as well. There's 3 ways to lose body fat. CR, DR, TR. So calorie restriction is what I generally get people to do. That's counting your calories. Dietary restriction is cutting out some certain foods that maybe are your downfall. With this, you don't need to cut them out. Some people, they need to cut them out, but I would say if you can't do it in 6 years' time, if you can't imagine yourself doing it in 6 years' time, not eating bars of chocolate, don't do it now, okay? Because there's no point doing it for 6 weeks and losing 3-4 kg, and then 6 weeks' time going back to old habits. Want to include these things, but just sustainably, okay, and not overdoing everything. So flexible dieting allows you to have no restrictions. You fit your bar of chocolate with a cup of tea at night into your calories. You fit the bag of crisps into your calories. Now, you can switch some of the stuff. Like, one of the best things you can nearly eat, like volume eating is probably another thing I need to do a video on. Volume eating would be like, instead of having a bag of King crisps or Hunky Dories or anything like that, you can get like the big bags of popcorn and stuff where there's huge volume. Like, it actually takes a good while to eat them. And they might be only 200 or 300 calories. Whereas you could go through like one little bag of Hunky Dories or one little bag of King crisps in like 30 seconds. There's less and less crisps in them these days. And you'd be eating half of that, 150 calories, okay? And it's then we generally go and get a second and a third bag, if that makes sense. Whereas if you can have the bigger bag of volume eating, you don't have to eat the whole bag. But that's one thing that I probably need to do a video on, volume eating. But once you can fit the crisps, the chocolate, whatever it is, into your diet, it's 100% fine, okay? And it probably seems counterintuitive that I'm telling people to eat some rubbish while you're trying to lose body fat, but I always say, and I said at the start of this video, if you can't cut out certain foods in 6 years' time, don't cut them out now, because there's no point doing it for 6 weeks or 6 months. It has to be sustainable, has to be long term. And the last thing is just what kind of fits in with that as well. It's more sustainable and there's balance, okay? So like I tell people, and the reason why I do calorie cycling, it links to this, okay? You see the way you cut back like 6 days of the week, 100 calories, okay? And it allows you to have that higher calorie day, because most weeks, most people will have one day where they're either going out or they have a party or they just can't track really well on that day. They have something on, really busy day, one day in the week, okay? And you allow the higher calorie day, and that's where you can have some of these things. So even if you're thinking like, I don't want to eat a bar of chocolate every day, you don't have to. But if you're good with your stuff and you're on point 80% of the time, that's all I'm really asking for. Monday to Friday, fine. Sunday, fine. But Saturday, you go out and have a takeaway. You have that 20% on the Saturday, okay? Like, it's completely up to you. But the point I want to get across is don't cut out all these things, okay? Fit them into your calories. But that comes back to it again. When I say fitting into the calories, like, you can lose body fat if your calorie deficit target is 2,000, okay, and you eat 2,000 calories every day, you will drop body fat. If say your maintenance is 2,500, you can eat 2,000 every day, you will drop body fat over time, okay? And that 2,000 calories can be 2,000 calories of pizza every day. The only thing is you're going to feel like shit, okay? So that's why I would recommend not having more than 20% of your food being the kind of processed stuff, the treats, the snacks, whatever they are. Have that 20% of the time, but 80% of the time you need to be putting good fuel into the tank. That's really all for flexible diet. And if you have any questions on this, please do message. I think I've covered everything there.